All right, now speaking of the futuristic phones of the world at the moment, the one you can buy currently, the Samsung Galaxy Fold, which we recently got our hands back on, have not slipped in the SIM card for the time being, not at the moment. Of course, coming very soon. But I happened upon this article about like just how fragile is this Fold, and because it's really the main concern. It's a concern a lot of people have given what happened during the first reviewer period where people had it and they had issues and so forth. And so Samsung, they're just like, look, we're not even going to try to pretend that this thing is a tank. We're not even going to try to pretend you should bring this on a job site in the construction zone. And they made this video called Caring for Your Galaxy Fold. And it's this elegant little piece here. Oh, I got the volume turned up over here. Caring for Your Galaxy Fold. Now, the first couple of seconds here, it's a minute long, but the first couple of seconds, they're just like, look at it. The Fold is spinning around in outer space or wherever these places are that they film these things, where it's like light doesn't exist or it only exists where they want it to. It's like every phone has to exist in this land for some period. Anyway, they're like, look, first of all, pause it right there, Will. Okay, so it said polymer. It said the word polymer, okay?
Okay.
So now we're getting into the nitty-gritty here. Now we're getting into the language. Now we're finding out exactly how they want you to perceive the thing. So they use the word polymer. They don't say glass. They don't say, because they're like, look, well, first of all, nobody in the business likes the word plastic, so no one's going to say that. Everything's polymer. You understand?
Yeah.
Which I guess is some type of plastic. I don't know. The chemists are angry now. Maybe polymers are a particular class of plastics. You mean not normally referred to as plastic. You understand? You see, that's what happens in the comment section. Maybe you're right. Anyhow, they use the polymer language here to imply to you that, like, look, we had to use this other material other than glass. So they're setting you up for what they're about to tell you next, because there's obviously a consequence of using this crafted polymer screen. Go ahead, hit play. All right, so that flips over. That's what sets the Fold apart, actually. The polymer display is actually what allows you to fold it, which is what you want to do. Now, they lay on the screen protector in this shot. The screen protector comes, there's no hands present. It installs itself. This is how the production line works. In Samsung, it just all happens like this. The screen protector lays on top. Now, keep playing here. Which they didn't even want to call a screen protector. So they say no extra films needed. That's what comes up on the screen here. And of course, this is because people were like, can I put a screen protector on? But I remember even with the early version, they had to make it clear, like, look, don't put because obviously with that polymer layer, if you try to pull your screen protector off, you might pull that whole thing off. And now with the new version, they wrapped it under the hinge, but they just want to make it clear. Look, you're using it the way it is, okay? Take it easy. Okay, keep playing. And the next thing they say, this is my favorite one. Did you see that clip right there? The finger comes down, Vanna White style, ASMR style, very gentle, the way the finger slides across the hinge. All right, that's a female hand, in case you're wondering, in case you're unfamiliar with what they do. That's a female hand right there, you understand? Just use, this is what it says on the screen, as she caresses the hinge, just use a light touch. This is them saying, get your act together. Polymer, fragile, folding, relax. Stop hammering the thing. Yeah. This is what they're trying to get across to you in this Caring for Your Galaxy Fold video. Anyway, go ahead, keep playing. Next up, the Galaxy Fold is engineered with an articulated spine. So now they go close. It's inspired by watches. It's very special. Then they say, keep free of water and dust. Okay? So they just throw that in quickly. That's the quick piece that they throw in. Then the last one, they say we have magnets in here. So also keep your metallic things away from the device. Coins, keys, cards that might be metallic, and so forth. So these are the warnings that are baked into the Caring for Your Galaxy Fold video. And look, it's like, I get the feeling if Apple did something like this, people would be like I remember famously with Steve Jobs when AntennaGate was going on, and he was like, he came out and said, you're holding the phone wrong, and people really hated that message. Like, I shouldn't be able to hold the phone wrong, was the feedback on that. And I could see a similar argument being placed here that, like, should you really need a video? Should you need a description of how to use something, or should you just know how to use it? But like in retrospect, I've gotten older, Will. Time has passed. Time has not been kind to me. You ever hear when people say that? Time has not been kind to him. Yeah. It's like, what? Like, it's in rough shape now. Mm-hmm. It's like a better way of saying rough. I don't mean that. Time has been very kind to me, in fact. But what I've realized is that, like, when you're trying to do anything ambitious, when you're trying to do something that hasn't been done before, you're often at that fringe of explanation. You're often at that place of like, well, it's a new thing, so I'm going to have to explain it to you, which is unfortunate. I mean, it would be great if everything was perfect all the time, but when you're trying to be ambitious, often you bump into these things. Now, I don't know if people want to say that the ambition level of the Galaxy Fold is similar to that original iPhone with antenna gate, but it's like you bump into these barriers when you're trying to be ambitious in general when you're making things. So you grant a little leeway in that department. I'm glad the thing exists as far as this video is concerned, because it's like, I think what they're trying to do is put people in the mindset of like, don't treat this like a regular phone. I think what they're really saying with this video is like, this is a different object.
Yeah.
So stop.
Be mindful.
Be mindful. I mean, they might even say that in the thing, but it's like, the real message is, this isn't another Galaxy S10. Don't do the things with this you would do with a Galaxy S10. And if you demand to treat your phone like a Galaxy S10, then get a Galaxy S10. And Samsung is just telling you that in advance so you're not upset. Mm-hmm. And they're also kind of admitting that the thing has some drawbacks, that like maybe you're super into the folding display and so forth, but don't think for a second it's not precious. And Samsung themselves, they want to be the ones to tell you that it's precious. And I have to, from my own perspective, from the moment I touched the thing, I was like, this is precious, which is part of the reason I didn't try to peel anything off or anything, because I was like, oof, this feels like something different. It felt fragile to me. Not fragile in such a way that it wasn't solid or hefty or that the materials weren't nice, but fragile in the sense that like you can feel the moving components underneath the hinge and all the rest of it. So they made changes, obviously, to this new version. They tried to plug the gaps that the dust was coming in. Obviously, they tucked the polymer part of the display underneath the hinge, trying to alleviate some of the problems that pre-existed, but then they put out the video on top so that people are well aware. So that's what they're doing here. But in case you were on the fence regarding just how fragile the device is, now you have evidence from Samsung directly, not just me, that like this thing is fragile and needs to be treated a certain way. And if you're spending the 2 Gs on it, if you do go out and buy one, because of course the official North American launch is coming up very shortly, just keep that in mind. Samsung themselves is telling you to take it easy. Keep that in mind.